and burning. This spiritual is based on the parable in Matthew 25. Keep a lamp lit for the moment it is needed, the wise and the foolish maidens preparing for the bridegroom in the second coming of Christ. One testimonial from William H. Robinson. They would carry them with iron lamps and with a greasy rag for a wick, and they would attach a sharp spike to the lamp so as to stick it in a tree. In this way, they would light up the swamp while they held their meeting. Keep Your Lamps, arranged by Andre Thomas, one of his signature pieces, and I'm just so grateful for his work at Florida State University and elsewhere, that he's been able to give voice to the spiritual. We do have some congas for this. If anyone would like to play congas, just raise your hand, we'll bring you a conga. If it's experimental, no worry. You don't have to play what's on the page. You do not have to go. You don't have to play what's on the page. It's all right. Just as long as you find something complimentary. Yeah, encourage. Just something complimentary. Yeah, and we have F minor, Dr. Jenkins. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing nigh. Just sing the melody. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed. Probably not. Probably not just the melody. The time is drawing. You want to try with the tambourine? I think you probably can make something happen with it. And you know what? I'll take whatever you want to give us. I love every contribution that you give us. All right, if you would, let's just have the basses and sopranos. Keep, here we go, and keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Do that again. Keep your lamp spaces trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing. Good. Now just the basis so you can hear that nice anchor underneath it. Keep your lamps. Here we go, basis and. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time. Sopranos, join them. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Altos, you ready? Here we go, altos. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing. Here we go, tenors. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing. Here we go, all parts, keep your lamps. And keep your lamps, bravo, trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing nigh. One thing I really appreciate is the way that you are really bringing the text out. Keep your lamps. And I love that you give a lot of energy to the lamps all the way through to keep that lamp burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. I love how you really give each text the declamation that it needs. Let's try one time. Keep, and keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing nigh. Children, don't get weary. Children, don't get weary. Children, don't get weary till your work is done. Children, don't get weary. Children, don't get weary. Children, don't get weary till your work. Alto, tenor, bass. Come on and swell that. Bass. Weary children. Bravo. Till your word. Sopranos join us. Children, children. Bass. Till your word is done. Now, when you have Christian journey, let's just make it a little bit detached. Christian journey soon be all over. Just a little bit detached. Chris, ready, and Christian journey soon be over. Shorter. Christian journey soon be over. Christian journey soon be over. The time is drawing. Christian journey. Christian journey soon be over. Christian journey soon be over. Christian journey. Second ending. Soon be over. The time is drawing. Keep your hands in. Keep your like a hush. Come on, tenors. There we go, tenors. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is strong. Now really strong. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing nigh. The time is drawing. Being a little bit higher. There it is. And you're going to give me a strong sound, then a soft sound, and then we'll grow together. Now. Do that again with the congos. You got it one more time. No. Here we go. Add. No. Nice. I'll tag team.
If you could take a look at God made my vow to the Lord. So, as we talk about the humanity of the spirituals, so many of the messages in the spirituals are just messages that everyone can connect with, right? Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. Oh, I will go, I shall go, to see what the end will be. Let's just read it. Here we go. 1, 2, yes, it's right after, kind of in the middle of the book, page 12. This also found in Lift Every Voice and Sing. All of the things from the Third Voice and Sings are things that I do currently at St. Thomas. So this is a part of a living ministry. Spirituals are still being sung. St. Thomas, as you know, goes back to 1792 when Absalom Jones found our church. We've had only 17 rectors in that 230-year time period. The organist prior to myself was James Townsend. He was there for 57 years. I've made it to 25, so I still have some more time to go. But made my vow. Read this right off the page. Here we go. 1, 2, and done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. Oh, I will go, I shall go to see what the end will be. Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. Oh, I will go, I shall go to see what the end will be. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. See what the end will be. But still my soul is heavily bound. See what the end will be. Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. Oh, I will go, I shall go to see what the end will be. Beautiful. So, it is true, this balance between what we're seeing on the page and what we hear can sometimes be a little different. And so Horace Boyer had a chance to work with him on, and he's one of the chief editors of the Lift Every Voice and Sing 2 hymnal. He would often do workshops on just reading what's on the page, but then adding what's not on the page. So look at the verse. When I sing this with my choir, I actually don't sing the notes that are there on the page. When I read those notes, sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. Here's what I sing. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. I'm going to do that first, you do it after. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. But still my soul is heavenly bound. But still my soul is heavenly bound. And I'm just doing that based on what I've heard, the way I've heard singers sing. And so it's okay to not do exactly what's there on the page sometimes, just to make it make sense. Beautiful. So tell you what, let's everyone sing the verse. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. And we'll just sing everything. Here we go. Everyone together. Sometimes I'm up. 1, 2, and. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. See what the end will be. But still my soul is heavenly bound. See what the end will be. Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. Oh, I will go, I shall go to see what the end will be. Done made my vow. I'm going to repeat that 2 times every time. Let's learn this alto part. Again, I'm going to read for the refrain. We will read what's on the page. Let's have soprano and alto. 1, 2. I made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. Oh, I will go, I shall go to see what the end will be. Good. Tenor and bass. 2 and. Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. Will go, I shall go to see what the end will be. Beautiful. Everyone together. 2 and. Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will turn back. I will go, I shall go to see what the end will be. Beautiful. So here's our map. We're going to do the whole thing. 2 times in the refrain, which is the harm where you see at the very beginning. The verse, where we see that number 1, that's the first verse. And then we're going to go back to the refrain and sing that 2 times. All right, here we go, from the top. Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never will right, y'all, I hear you. Next is My Lord, What a Morning. True story. I needed an anthem for my choir to sing on Martin Luther King celebration of this year. So I wrote this the day before the service. And I wrote it in a way that I knew that I'd be able to teach my choir basically in an hour how to sing the spiritual. So I'll tell you what, let's read through it. I'll go and fix things as we go. Starts in unison. First two lines are in unison. First two phrases are in unison. Then we break into harmony on the third phrase. And it goes back to unison on the fourth phrase. So the first phrase, my Lord, what a morning. Second phrase, my Lord, what a morning. Third phrase, oh my Lord, what a morning. That's harmony. Then we're back to unison at when the stars begin to fall. 1, 2, 3. Refrain's going to come back a little later, but we get the verse. Starts out in unison. Will hear the trumpet sound. Breaks into harmony. Beautiful reading. So let's just read it. 2 and. You will hear the trumpet sound to wake the nations underground, looking to my God's right hand when the stars begin to fall. Beautiful. In essence of time, you can take that with you. That is yours to do with your choirs as you see fit. Thank you.
Jay, did you write that with specific parts of work in mind?
Yes. 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 So I do a lot of arranging for my choir specifically because that's just what we do. Duke Ellington did the same thing, right? Duke Ellington, he wrote for his orchestra. He knew every instrument. He knew every sound. But at the same time, these are things that can be done by any choir. But I did keep it manageable. I have a far more complex arrangement of that same spiritual, but sometimes it's not about complexity. Right? It's about singability. It's about communication in the moment. Right? Spiritual is about just making that connection. And sometimes you have to strip away all of the complexity just to come down with something simple, communicate the music, communicate the message in the clearest way possible.
So next you'll want to pull out one of the pieces of sheet music that was handed out, I've Been Buked by Paul Johnson. Wonder how many of you might happen to know this particular arrangement?
We sang it in St. Luke's when I was a child. So this is one of the things we sang in St. Luke's.
This is a classic, and I had known of it for a while, but but didn't feel right singing it. I needed permission, you know, as we white folks like to say, and didn't feel I had it yet. And so one thing, so I came to Haverford College to teach in 1996 was I wanted to have the spirituals be a part of what we did, but I needed some connection to the tradition and something that the students could connect to as well. And of course, if you open any page about the spirituals, you realize that it was college students that first introduced the spirituals to the world. And it happens that the colleges that started doing that still exist, and they still have great choral programs. But I had never seen them at choral festivals of conferences that I went to because they weren't invited. So I went and knocked on the door, and one of those doors was a man who was minister at Zion Baptist Church in Ardmore, one of the 7 historically black churches to go back over a century there. And his day job, because he had to be a volunteer as senior minister at the church, was a bookbinder in the library. And he had a son who had recently graduated from Howard in Washington. And he had this idea, why don't you invite the Howard choir to come up and sing? So do you think they'd do that? Well, my son might be able to arrange it. So we did. And in 2002, we were blessed to have the Howard University Choir with Jim Norris, James Weldon Norris, come up and perform with us. And we performed part of the concert, and we performed several things with them. But one of the pieces that they sang was I've Been Buked. And as is the custom with many of the spirituals, they're published a certain way, and then when the historical black colleges got a hold of them, they came up with their own versions, their own renditions. And Hall Johnson had actually conducted the Howard Choir back during, because James Weldon Norris had been there for 45 years before he retired. And so we saw firsthand how it went, how the music goes, and something of where it comes from. And the next year, we learned it among ourselves with that reference. Not to imitate the way they sounded, but to take the roadmap. And the roadmap was this. You see in your in the printed score 3 verses. But when they performed it with Hall Johnson, they did it 6 times. First time on ooh, then going into the first verse. And we think of this as a sorrow song, which it is. And we look at the words, say, I've been buked and I've been scorned. Well, how can I sing that? I mean, I've had a pretty privileged life. And what context could I sing that in? But the second verse says, there's trouble all over this world. There's trouble all over this world, children. And what they're saying there is that evil is universal and suffering is universal. We are part of something, the challenge of being a human being and separating our best instincts from our worst. And what do we do in the face of that reality? The third verse. Ain't gonna lay my religion down. I'm not going to give up my beliefs in that I'm part of something greater and that evil and hatred and being rebuked is not the final end. And each one of those verses was sung in a characteristically very different way, one to the next. And then the 5th time through was the first verse repeated again, only this time piano, softly, all the way from beginning to end, and then going into singing it on oud again to finish. And it's a journey that takes it through again from a very specific time and place and a suffering that there's never been anything like it in the world. But out of that, one of the things that came out of it was this incredible melody in a major key. We usually associate with happiness, right? In a major key, this sorrow song. So let's just, in the time we have, see if we can learn the melody and learn this wonderful arrangement that has some remarkable chords. Just sing along with me on, just on ooh. bass part. Another unwritten thing in the score is that the last bar on the first page, "Scorned Children," has 5 beats in it. It looks like it has 4, but the way they sing it is. Okay? You stretch it out in that way, and it would be kind of strange to notate it that way. And so it's a combination of the written tradition and the oral tradition. Let's try, I know we don't have a lot of tenors and basses here, but let's do your parts together. On who? Just remembered a name. I'm terrible with names, worse than ever now that I'm getting older. Jim Pollard was the reverend whose son led me to Howard, if any of you know him. Jim Pollard. So let's just try it together on ooh. Say there's some pieces that you come across in your life that are relatively short, but where every note is just right. And this is one of those. You know, it's a miracle, right? That it's such a perfect piece we could be blessed with. Now, the words. That's also where there are traditions, and the tradition that I inherited from him. And we'll do this call and response style. I'll sing the melody and you sing it after me. I've been buked. I've been buked. And I've been scorned, yes. And I've been scorned. Yes or no is in some of these in the printed part, but they did it more frequently. I've been buked and I've been scorned, children. I've been buked and I've been scorned, children. About shows you born. I've been talked about shows you close quarters gets a sforzando piano. Shows you born. Dialect is a tricky thing too. Often white folks like myself are shy of dialect. There's been a lot of discussion about that over the years. And again, because it was used as a subject of ridicule. When now linguists look back and they say, well, actually, African American English and Southern American English are about 90% the same in terms of consonants that are smooth and drop and so on. Okay, so it's a dialect like any other dialect, and it's the one that they had in mind. The main thing for white directors teaching it is to not exaggerate, because exaggeration was the heart of the ridicule method. Make it natural, make it flow. Listen to someone speak it so that it's natural. Shows you born. No exaggeration. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Jay, would you play along? Just to... That's how the first part of it, that's how it goes, as they say, in one tradition, of which there are many others as well. Gary.
Now we're going to go back, combination of reading, these little black dots, and internalizing. Okay. This piece was something I put together a while ago, but then came back to it. I had heard a version of it, but I tend to hear other things when I hear things. And that answers to what Jay was saying, that we hear things, and we could have, I don't know how many different arrangements in one song. I am the director of music at my church at Broad and Dime at Berean Presbyterian. And through the 40-some-odd years that I've been the music director there, I have done different Lord's Prayers for the different choirs, because each one has a different character, one for the children, one for the older choir, one for the younger people. And so you have to write sometimes according to what you have before you, okay? Now, with this, one reason I wanted to present this was because I wanted to bring out the fact that in spirituals, you're painting a picture. You're painting a picture of what it is that is trying to tell you, the story that it's trying to tell you. A poor wayfaring stranger. My image, other than the Exodus, and so many times that we've gone through places in the Bible, what I saw was desolate. I saw desert, I heard wind, I heard seclusion, and I heard just an openness of sound. So the opening has that in there, okay? So what I'm going to expect from you or ask of you is I want that longing of feeling. I'm going to want the expression of crescendos and decrescendos, just like in the beginning. If you would, give me a mic here. or for the soprano line. And everybody else follows suit in the way in which I do it. Okay, the soprano line. Because I know undoubtedly there's going to be another arrangement, because I hear other stuff in this, but this is the foundation, okay? So, can we just read just what we have right there, just that opening, those three measures, or rather those two measures right there? Can we do that? And this one, ooh. All right, ready? And breathe. Let's do that again. And this time, I'm going to tell you to over-exaggerate. We're going to pretend that we're in a massive place and we need the person all the way in the back seat to pick up on the fact that you're giving me a swell. You're giving me this, okay? I want you to feel it, all right? I want you to feel it. All right, here we go. Let's just do that part again, then we're going to move on. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ready? And ooh. Nice. Ooh. So ready? Ooh. Good. Now basses. You get to do nice simple notes, simple quarter tones. I can't get all the way down there, but you know what I want. Thank you, Jack. Make sure you utilize that rest, okay? Because you see it's going to pick up. Now, if you're looking at your music, tenors, you see you're going to basically sing the line that you sang. After they do, the bass starts in, it'll be a ooh, and it's done in the same way. Then if you look at the next line, altos, you're going to join them and do the line you did. Ooh. Then the third time that it's done, sopranos, you're in. Ooh. All right? So let's start with the basses. Do your walking line. All right, here we go, basses. And make sure you break on that quarter note. Okay? Here we go. Ready, basses, sing. Tenors. Ooh. Everybody's in? Ooh. Basses? Read it. Ooh. Now stop. Now here is really the melody, the motif of the whole piece. This is the part that has the whatever definition you want to give it. Okay? That's just whatever makes you feel good. This is that section. All right? So I need this sung with warmth. Yes, I'm going to use the word passion. Music is passion. I want the passion in it. I want men. I gave it to the men first. Sorry, ladies. I gave it to the men first. But if you look, you get a chance to do it too. So I'm going to want that same feeling, all right? So gentlemen, let me do just a little bit of it. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do it in my octave, of course. All right? So ladies, you'll get to do the same thing. Different words, but the same melody. I am a poor wayfaring stranger. That's how I want it. While traveling through this barren land, yet there's no sickness, toil, nor danger in that bright land to which I go. All right, give that to me, gentlemen. All right, here we go. 1, are you doing it? 2, I am a poor. Very legato, off. And while traveling through this barren land, oh, yet there's no sickness, toil, or danger. Isn't that right? Right. Crescendo a little bit. To which? All right, now let's sight read from here. All right, everybody's in together here. All right. I'm going there. All right, here we go. 1, 2, I'm going there. I'm going there to see my Father. I'm going there, no more to roam. Gentlemen, we go, the joy. Now, let's stop right there. Every time you say this, Jordan is the magical place, right? I'm only going over Jordan. Put a little, whatever you want to call that. All right, you got it. All of this has, it's like a heartbeat. It's a heartbeat. All right? So that's why, and the other thing, every time you have that half note, see how it extends over? You're going to give me a little something, something, something in there. Ooh, see? It answered. Right? All right, here we go. Gentlemen, that's good, though. You're doing good. All right, now, I might as well, since I stopped. Everybody gets to do a little answer here, and it's continuous in the piece. You're going to say, to see Jesus. You're going to do that little answer. It says, to see Jesus. To see Jesus. And that's what you want. That's what you want. Okay? All right, here we go. Take it from, if we could, gentlemen. No, let's see that part. I'm going there to see mine. Can we take it from there? The harmony part. 1, 2, everybody's in. I'm going there to see my Father. I'm going there. I'm going there, no more to roam. Off we go. Come on, Jordan. We know the joy. That was good, good. I'm only. You ready to answer? Everybody else? Wing over home. To see Jesus. Here we go. To see Jesus. Do it again. To see Jesus. One more time, please. To see Jesus. There. Ladies, I know dark. I know dark clouds. Same thing, come on, feel it. Around me. Give me a nice dark full sound. I know my way is hard and steep, yet beautiful feet. Crescendo a little bit, will rise before me. Where God's redeemed, their angels keep. Harmony, here we go. I'm going there to see my mother. Here we go. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going. Come on, ladies, give me that Jordan. Wing over Jordan. There we go. baritone. To see Jesus. Stay in it, stay in it. Keep going. Baritone, you're out. Just the 3 tops. To see Jesus. Stay with me. You're only saying to see Jesus. Look at me. To see Jesus. So you can be together. Get softer. To see Jesus. Don't lose the energy. Just get softer. To see Jesus. And when you sing the last one, don't move. To see Jesus.